They were young in love and ready to begin their new life together. But in the summer of 1994, just days after their wedding, Jonas and Ingrid vanished into the wild beauty of Iceland Highlands and were never seen again. For 15 years, their family searched, mourned, and waited until a university drone, flying over melting glaciers, captured something hidden beneath the ice, something no one was meant to find. What followed would unravel a conspiracy that crossed borders, destroyed a legacy, and revealed a chilling truth buried in silence and snow. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments, especially what moments shocked you the most, and subscribe for more real-life mysteries just like this one. Your support helps us keep uncovering the hidden stories that deserve to be heard. The summer of 1994 was unusually bright in the West Fjords of Iceland. The newly married couple, Jonas Firth and Ingrid Norell, had just exchanged vows in a quiet church near Safter, surrounded by a small group of friends, family, and the haunting beauty of Iceland's remote coastline. As they climbed into their vintage red Volkswagen van, laughter echoing into the long twilight, no one imagined it would be the last time they'd be seen. Their plan was simple: a week-long honeymoon trek to the Icelandic Highlands, camping beside glacial rivers, photographing birds, and sketching landscapes. Jonas, a 26-year-old artist, had long dreamed of capturing the raw beauty of the land in charcoal and watercolors. Ingrid, a 25-year-old Norwegian photographer, shared his passion for solitude and scenery. But when they failed to check in with either family or friends after a week, and then another, concern turned into panic. Search teams scoured the Highlands. Flyers were printed. Calls were made across borders. But nothing, not even a tire mark or a spent shell, turned up. The official investigation concluded that they had likely succumbed to Iceland's unpredictable terrain, a landslide, a sudden river flood, or worse. Their families never fully accepted the explanation, but the world moved on. Then, in 2009, something changed. Gerard Firth, Jonas's father, had once taught geography at the local high school. After his wife's early death, Jonas had become his world. In the years following the disappearance, Gerard developed a grim routine. Wake at dawn, read Icelandic news, walk the cliffs, return home for instant coffee and cold bread. He kept Jonas's room untouched. The sketchbook stacked neatly, his guitar still tuned, an unfinished charcoal portrait resting on the easel. So when a Reykjavik police officer named Freya Lynn called his landline in late August of 2009, asking him to come immediately to the city for a matter related to Jonas and Ingrid, Gerard nearly dropped the receiver. "We believe there's been a development in their case," she said gently. "Please bring any identifying documents or artifacts you still have." He left that night on the coastal bus, clutching Jonas's passport, birth certificate, and a few old photos. The discovery had begun innocently enough. University students working under a summer drone program were mapping glacial erosion patterns over Vatnajökull, the massive ice cap that dominates southeast Iceland. One drone, nicknamed Skjar 7, captured a strange reflective anomaly beneath the icy runoff basin. At first, they thought it was natural metal deposits. But as the images were enhanced and the water levels dropped due to seasonal melt, the shape became clearer. A roof rack, a bumper, tires, a red Volkswagen van. The serial number on the image match plate was enough to launch a coordinated effort between local police, SAR teams, and the Ministry of Justice. Gerard arrived just as the extraction began. The rescue team had to use a crane flown in by a helicopter to retrieve the van. Its metal frame was warped from the ice pressure. Inside were ruined wedding gifts, mold-ridden blankets, Ingrid's hiking boots, and a sealed waterproof pouch that contained partially destroyed negatives and a half-melted camera. No bodies, no blood, but there, stuck under the passenger seat, was an object that made Inspector Freya Lynn pause, a silver military compass, engraved with the name Karsten. Freya Lynn had retired in 2007, 2 years before the drone discovery. But when she received a call from the Reykjavik station about the anomaly matching an old missing persons report she had personally filed in 1994, she returned without hesitation. Her instincts had never let her rest. Something about the Firth Norell case had always nagged her. Too capable, adventurous people don't just vanish in ideal weather. The van's location reinforced her suspicions. It was nowhere near any route they had supposedly planned. She met Gerard outside the evidence tent, his hands trembling as he held his son's guitar pick, used for DNA comparison. "I never stopped believing," he whispered, "but I need to know if it was fast. If they were together." "We'll find out," Freya promised. Ingrid's family flew in from Oslo. Her powerful mother, Evelyn Norell, owner of Norell Maritime, and younger sister, Helena, a reserved botanist with soft eyes and a quiet presence. Evelyn took control the moment she arrived. "You will speak to our family council before making any public statements," she told police photographers and reporters. "My daughter's name is not for sale." Gerard and Evelyn had never gotten along. He considered her manipulative and condescending. She considered him beneath her daughter's social status. Forensics discovered something odd in the van's front compartment. Ingrid's camera lens shattered, Jonas's field sketches smeared by ice melt. But in a side storage bin, protected by a thermal bag, was a folded silk garment, black lace, unworn, and a card from Karsten, Oslo, 1993. Freya's brow furrowed. The name matched the compass. Helena, upon seeing the name, froze. Karsten Halder was my mother's personal bodyguard, but he left the company in 1994, weeks before the wedding. Digging into military records, Freya found that Karsten had once served in the Norwegian Armed Forces and was discharged under vague medical circumstances. Evelyn had hired him not long after, placing him in charge of both corporate security and her daughter's protection. Karsten now lived in Aarhus, Denmark, under a different surname. Freya, with Gerard accompanying her, made the journey. Karsten, now older, bulkier, and living alone, initially denied everything. But when shown the compass and the silk card, his expression darkened. "I warned her not to marry that boy. Her mother said the Firths were dreamers, that he would ruin her." "So what did Evelyn tell you to do?" Freya asked. Karsten stared out the window for a long time, then said, "Just keep an eye." Nothing more. But there was more. Back in Iceland, Gerard went to the small beachside cottage where the couple had stayed before heading into the Highlands. He hadn't been there in over a decade. In the back of a drawer, he found a letter addressed to him, never sent. It was from Ingrid. "Jonas doesn't know, but I've been followed. I saw Karsten yesterday. He tried to speak to me at the market. I think my mother still has him watching me. We're going to leave quietly tomorrow. Please understand." Gerard took the letter to Freya. Her jaw tightened. "It was never just a honeymoon," she murmured. "They were running." Meanwhile, the university drone team made a disturbing discovery. Half their footage was corrupted, their servers accessed remotely. Internal IP logs pointed to a private security firm headquartered in Oslo, one that had recently merged with Norell Maritime. Freya confronted Evelyn directly. Did you authorize a cyber operation to interfere with our investigation? Evelyn's eyes were steel. I protect my daughter's legacy. You should do your job and find whoever put her in that glacier. But Freya had made her decision. Then it's time to bring Karsten back to Iceland. In handcuffs. Helena and Norell had always been the quiet one. While Ingrid climbed mountains and modeled for environmental campaigns, Helena tended orchids and collected ancient botany texts. But when Gerard gently asked her about Karsten, something shifted behind her calm eyes. I remember a summer afternoon in Oslo, she began. 1993. Ingrid and I were in the garden. Karsten brought tea and sat with Mother. They were speaking softly, but I overheard the words. If she tries to run, you stop her. I didn't understand it then, but I do now. Freya leaned in. Why didn't you say anything before? Because I was afraid. Afraid of what it meant, and of what Mother might be capable of. With Karsten now in custody and under pressure, Freya shifted focus. Using LiDAR, light detection and ranging, scans flown by helicopter over the Highlands, the team identified a depression in the limestone nearing Veller National Park, a site not marked on any hiking maps. The drone team enhanced the topography model. What emerged was a long rectangular disturbance, about 2 meters wide and 6 deep. Freya gave the go, so our teams moved in. They found a burial site. Inside, a single set of remains, a metal wedding band, and a sketchbook sealed inside a waterproof pouch. Gerard recognized the drawing on the front immediately, a charcoal rendering of Ingrid laughing beside their van. Confronted with the evidence, Karsten finally spoke. I followed them into the Highlands, he said, not to hurt them, just to bring Ingrid back. But they spotted me and they changed course. I lost them for a day. When I found the van again, Ingrid was gone. Jonas confronted me. We fought. He slipped, hit his head on a basalt rock. It was an accident. Freya was unmoved. And Ingrid, she ran. I searched, but the storm rolled in. I thought she was dead too. So I buried Jonas and drove the van into the Melt Basin. Evelyn told me to leave the country. She wired me money. I never went back. But Karsten's story didn't sit right with Gerard, nor with Helena. So Freya pushed harder. Eventually, Karsten admitted there was another location, a cave somewhere near Voradalir. So our units combed the geothermal valley. In a crevice carved by ancient lava flows, they found the bones of a woman. She had been placed deliberately, her body arranged, protected by stones. Her necklace still glinted through layers of mineral sediment, the same one Ingrid wore in every photo. This was no accident. She had been laid to rest with care. Evelyn Norell was summoned to Reykjavik under warrant. Her lawyers came first, then her entourage. But it didn't stop the press. She was mobbed at the airport, face frozen behind sunglasses. Freya confronted her in the interview room. You lied to everyone. You hired Karsten. You paid him to recover your daughter. I did what any mother would. Evelyn snapped. She was naive, falling for some poet from a fishing town. You think I was going to let her throw away her future? You didn't stop her. You buried her. Evelyn slammed her fist on the table. I never told Karsten to kill them. I only told him to bring her back. The rest he did on his own. And then you helped him cover it up. Evelyn fell silent. Her empire was crumbling. The courtroom in Reykjavik brimmed with journalists, activists, and spectators. The Norell name had once evoked prestige. Now it was the centerpiece of a media storm. Karsten Halder was tried first. The court heard his recorded confession, the discovery of both bodies, and his role in deceiving authorities. He was sentenced to 20 years for manslaughter, desecration of corpses, and obstruction of justice. Evelyn Norell's case was more complex. Her lawyers argued she had acted out of maternal concern, that she never explicitly ordered harm. But Freya's investigation proved Evelyn funded Karsten's disappearance, arranged false documents, and tampered with drone data. After 6 weeks, the court delivered its verdict: guilty of conspiracy, cover-up, and tampering with a criminal investigation. Evelyn was sentenced to 9 years. Her empire fractured overnight. The story dominated Nordic headlines. Heiress behind bars, read one. Drone uncovers decades of deceit, read another. Books were proposed. Documentaries were filmed. But Gerard refused every offer. Jonas and Ingrid are not entertainment, he told one producer. Helena, too, declined interviews. Instead, she left Oslo quietly and returned to Iceland, taking a research position at the Botanical Garden in Akureyri. The only interview granted was by Inspector Freya Lind. In it, she simply said, "Justice does a reverse time, but it can stop silence from becoming a second death." Ingrid and Jonas were finally laid to rest side by side on a high ridge overlooking the Skalafelsical Glacier. It was the same place Jonas had once sketched, calling it the edge of the sky. A crowd gathered: students, SAR workers, police officers, hikers who'd once shared trails with them. A violinist played a reimagining of one of Jonas's compositions. Gerard gave a simple eulogy. They chased beauty and found each other. Let them rest where the earth sings. Helena placed a folded letter on Ingrid's grave. It read, "You were never the burden they said you were. You were the wildfire they couldn't control." Inspector Freya Lind stood outside her Reykjavik precinct one final time. A bouquet of mountain flowers sat on her desk, left anonymously. She had solved over 93 major cases. But this one had stayed with her through marriage, divorce, retirement, and return. Before locking her office, she removed a small object from her coat pocket. A tiny ceramic sparrow Ingrid had made in high school, found in the van's glove box. She placed it on her shelf. "Not every mystery is meant to be solved," she said to the empty room, "but this one needed to be." Gerard Firth returned to Safter. He sold the house, donating most of Jonas's art to a coastal gallery. He moved to a cabin further north, near Bolungarvik, where the sea was louder than the wind. Every morning he walked to the cliffs. One day, he carried a tin lunchbox to a high overlook and opened it. Inside were Jonas's final sketches. One by one, he released them into the air. They danced like gulls. Below him, waves struck basalt with a fury that never ended, but never forgot. 15 years after they vanished, Jonas and Ingrid were finally found. Not by the authorities who failed them, but by technology, truth, and one father who refused to let go. Their story reminds us that love can outlast silence, that even the coldest places cannot bury truth forever. If this story moved you, let us know in the comments. What part hit you the hardest? What do you think justice truly looks like in a case like this? Don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more deep dive true crime stories that uncover what others try to hide. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.